Thank you for joining Fashion MA information session. Today we will have a short introductions and the graduate program director will talk about the program and admission requirements. I will continue with the admission and funding. At the end, we'll have the open floor for questions and answers. Tonight we have the graduate program director, Asmud Rahman, joining us tonight. We have Daniel Garcia, the manager of the graduate program administration team, joining us tonight. And myself, Ilini. You will get a chance to work with my colleagues, Marnie Gerbit and Tonisha Boyd once you are in the program. To begin with, I'd like to acknowledge the land. The Toronto Metropolitan University is located in downtown Toronto. Toronto is in the dish with one spoon territory. The dish with one spoon is a treaty between the Anishinaabe, Mississaugas, and Haudenosaunee that bound them to share the territory and protect the land. Subsequent indigenous nations and peoples, Europeans, and all newcomers have been invited into this treaty in the spirit of peace, friendship, and respect. I encourage you to check out the link about the land acknowledgement to learn more about it and why it's important to us. Okay, over to you, Osman.
Welcome, everyone. I'm so excited to talk about our MA program. Our MA program is the MA in Fashion program in Canada. I think it's the only program that we have the MA in Fashion. And we welcomed students from diverse academic background, regardless whether you are a fashion student or non-fashion student. So any students, if you have a bachelor degree, you can apply for this program. In the past, we have accepted students with a bachelor degree in art history, English, political science, psychology, sociology, anthropology, and of course, fashion and textile, and many other disciplines. So as I said, this program is not only for the fashion students, but is for almost everyone. So as long as you have a degree, the bachelor degree. In TMU, we have 7 faculties, and the creative school is one of them. And under the creative school, we have 10 professional school and the departments. And fashion is only one of the department, and we have 2 programs. One is the undergraduate program, the other one is a master program. Currently, we don't have the fashion PhD program. The undergraduate program consists of 5 concentrations. So some students, they study fashion design, communication, fashion studies, materials and sensitivity, and also fashion design leadership. And the MA program, usually we accept around 20 students. And also the structure of the university consists of different units. So the Yet School of Graduate Studies taking care of certain things. When you submit the application, they will review all the application first. And then we will select some students, shortlist some applicants, and then we'll pass it on to the creative school. And Elaine and Daniel will pass it on to the School of Fashion. And then we have the faculty members to review every single application. And later on, I will talk about the application requirements. And I just want to talk about the program curriculum and also give you an overview. And the Fashion MA program is a 2-year program. The first year, there are 3 terms: fall term, winter term, and the spring-summer term. And there are some courses is mandatory, so everyone needs to take those classes. And then also we offer some electives to the students. The first term in the fall term, everyone needs to take the graduate seminar, research methods, and fashion theory and history seminar 1, and then 1 elective. The elective could be the studio course, could be the theory course. And then the second term is the same, 3 core courses, and then 1 elective. And also students need to take the graduate seminar, but then it's a different topics, and also the theory, the fashion history, and seminar 2, and also the studio workshop, so that everyone need to take at least 1 or more than 1 studio workshops. Now, when you look at these courses, why we have the theory and the history, because some students, they are not from the fashion field, so we want to offer different theories, especially the fashion theories to the students, so that they know what theory they should use or apply for the research studies. And then in the second term, also the students, they need to work on the MRP. MRP stands for Master of Research Project or Master of Research Paper. And the students need to submit a proposal by the end of the winter term. And then during the summer, some students, they work on the internship, or they continue to work on the MRP. And then the next year, in the fall, then the students, they already know the topics of the research. And some research, they might need to collect their own data for analysis, then need to go through the ethic approval. And usually they will get the ethic approval during the summertime. So when they come back to school in the second year in September, they can start collecting the data, working on the research, and conduct the literature review. In the second year, only the first term, the students, they need to take 2 electives. And then usually they will complete all the required courses. And in the winter term, then they can focus only on the MRP. Unless some students, they couldn't complete all the courses, then they might still need to take 1 course in the last term. Next slide. And I want to share with you about the resources, what kind of resources we have. We have a fashion research collection. So we have many, many items from the 19th century, 20th century, from different people, they donate to our collection. And we are using this as one of the materials for the students. They can look at it, and also they can use it for the MRP. So especially students, they focus on the fashion history or focus on the fashion artifacts, then they can look at all these items. Not only just to look at it, but also you can touch it, you can to look at it closely to see how the garment is constructed and what kind of social or cultural meanings attached with the garments. And some students, they using this, it really depends on your research topic. Some students, they might focus on the business, the marketing, the branding, then they might not need to use their fashion research collection. But I just want to share with you what kind of resources we have. And then next. And then also, if you go to our website, you will find a lot more information about our collections. As I said, there are many pieces. Not every single piece is from North America or from Europe. There's also some pieces is from Asia. So you can look at those information, and also we have some articles talk about those collective items. And next. And also, a couple of years ago, we create a fashion network, the student network, for the students to communicate with the other institution, especially the graduate students, so that they can exchange ideas and to discuss with the other students at the other university. For example, in this network, we have the Parsons School of Design from New York, FIT also, and also last year in the Parsons School of Design, they put up a fashion symposium. for the graduate students to attend. And we had a couple of students also present the master research project at the symposium. So, and also we have a little bit of funding to support the students to go to the international or national conferences to present the paper. However, it's no guarantee whether we have sufficient funding for every single student, because it depends on how many students apply for the funding, and also it depends on the budget. Next. And this is what I mentioned earlier. The fashion studies also present the fashion studies network. So what is fashion study? Fashion study is a journal that we have. It's an open access journal for everyone, not only for the TMU student, but for anyone, the students, the researcher, the scholar, they can submit a paper. And then we have an editorial board to review the paper, and then we select the paper and publish in our online journal. And this online journal also welcome all the MA students to submit the master research project and for consideration. Next. And also we have the fashion zone. The fashion zone is for the students, particularly those students, they want to launch their own business in the future, and also want to learn more about the entrepreneurship or also how to run a business. And this fashion zone, we have a lot of mentors to provide the information to the students, and also helping them, how to develop the brand, how to develop the company. Also, we have some like a fashion zone, like a partners there, and also because the people also can apply for this, not only for the fashion student, but also for other people that if they created their own company and they want to get some support, then also they can apply for this fashion zone. And also is very good, the area for the students to further develop their business and the ideas. Next. Now, let's talk about the admission requirements. When you apply for this program, you need to submit all these documents. You need to submit 2 recommendation letters. The recommendation letters is submitted online, same as many other academic institutions. Now, if you ask someone to give you a reference letter and all the reference letter are submitted online, it's no longer like a physical letter, right? Or hard copy. When you invite the people to provide you a reference, make sure that that person knows you well enough, and also to provide a little bit information about yourself, not only just to provide a score, right? Because there's some categories that they need to give you the score, but then we would like to see how they feel about you. And if you work with them as a relationship, work relationship, then we want to see particularly your research capabilities, your communication skill, and also your personality. And if you receive any scholarship award, also you can mention that. Maybe also you can remind the referees when they write the reference letter, they can include those items. Now, the next thing is the letter of intent or statement of interest. We would like to know why you want to pursue an MA in fashion. What's the reason or the rationale? And do you want to study an MA to prepare you for the future career? Do you want to get an MA degree and then you want to further develop your research? Or do you want to pursue even a higher degree, the PhD? And every students, they have different reasons why they want to pursue an MA in fashion. And some students, as I said, they are not from the fashion, but they may have passions, right, in fashion, then they will apply. And then is it the times that, do I have enough time, Elaine? Yeah, okay. And then also the students need to submit the written samples. If your undergraduate program is nothing to do with art and design, we don't expect you have a portfolio unless you do the designed work, on the side, right? If you are the freelance designer, the artist, but then you study political science, then you might have a portfolio. Otherwise, we don't expect everyone has a portfolio. So if you don't have a portfolio, then you submit 2 written samples. If you have a portfolio, you can submit 1 written sample and also 1 portfolio. The portfolio, you can select the items that you want to present or showcase. So I would suggest that select the best work that can demonstrate your creativity, the innovativeness, and also the diversity. So maybe you are capable to design multiple things, different things, then include that in your portfolio. For the written sample, then we are looking for more academic written sample. So we want to see your research ability and also the writing skills. Now, I also don't want to encourage you guys to submit anything is not academic, or don't submit anything is a group project. It's an individual project that can reflect your writing skill, your research ability. And also because this is an academic paper or academic sample, so make sure that you followed the referencing style. So if you're using AP8 referencing style or MLA, then stick to the style and be consistent, because we do read every single written sample. And then the recent CV, also make sure update your CV. If you have some work experience or community service, include those, because we look at the academic, look at the scholarship, the award that you receive, but at the same time, also we look at your work experience and also your community services. So put everything there that can help the reviewers or to help us to understand you better. And then the academic transcript, then you need to ask your undergraduate institution to provide the academic transcript. And I think probably Elaine or Daniel, you can talk a little bit about the requirement of this, the academic requirement. The Lex.
Thank you, Osmo.
Okay, so the last things that I want to talk about, then if you have any questions, then you can ask later. This is the last information that I would like to provide. And I find this is a very, very useful. If you have a pen or you have an iPhone, also write it down the information. Now, if you go to the TMU, you type R-Share. This is a digital repository site that consists of many research papers, including the fashion student's thesis or MRP. We don't use the thesis, but we use MRP. Next slide. So if you go to this website, then you will see several buttons or several labels on the bottom of the page. Then you will see all categories, groups, and search, right? So you click on groups and next. And then after you click on groups, then you type fashion thesis. After you type the fashion thesis, then a lot of MRP paper will pop up. Then you will see all these MRP research. Because in the past, many students ask me, I don't know what kind of projects the students usually to work on and what kind of requirements, do you have a sample that you can provide me? I think there's a lot of samples here. So if you go to this Art Share, you will find so many previous MRP. Some of them has the creative component. So for the MRP, the students, they can do it with a written MRP. So consists of 60 pages long paper, or they can do it with a creative component. the creative component, it could be the digital media, it could be the creative work, any creative work. And the students need to write 40 pages with the creative components. So when you present your MLP, you need to talk about your creative work based on certain theory or approaches, right? And then you talk about that. And if you go to look at this MLP, the documents, you will also see some images and what theories that people use and also what topics. Next slide. I did a search over only the last 3 years of our MLP, and you can see there are 3 columns here. And then some students, our students, they are not from the TMU. In fact, majority of our MA students, they are not from TMU or Ryerson. You can see the first column students from a different institution. And also you can see the undergraduate program, they will not study fashion. Some of them, they study fashion or textile. Some other students, they study commerce, anthropologies, psychologies, different thing. But one thing is interesting, I just want to provide you guys a little bit more information. It seems to me that over the last 3 years, a lot of students' research topic are related to certain area. But then, of course, it's quite diverse, right? But then there's some areas related to the consumer behavior, branding, marketing, sustainability or sustainable practices, and the gender identity and gender image, body image, diversity, inclusion, and also the social media, and many topics. But that it seems this is quite popular, this topic. But of course, also a lot of students, their research is focused on the art history, because the undergraduate probably is related to English literature or related to the art and history, then they want to do something like that. But also we have some students, their MLP is focused on human-centered design or wearable technologies. And we have students from different institutions, also from the OCAD, and OCAD, they have the program also related to the wearable technology. We have students from Concordia because also they have a fine art program. So we have students from different university. And I hope this information is useful for all of you. If you have any questions, like especially some of the questions, if I cannot address today, please feel free to email me, then I will answer your questions. Only the questions related to the program. If something is related to the admission, the process, the scholarship, the award, or the deadline of the submissions, things like that, then please contact Elaine and Daniel because they know better than me. Yeah, I forgot this. I just want to show to you guys quickly. A couple of students' work, they have a creative components because students also ask me what kind of creative work they create. Now, this one is quite interesting. It's from Jonathan Lee. He just graduated last year, 2024. And his research consists of creative component, but it's interesting enough, he didn't create all the outfits. He interviewed several designers in Hong Kong because his study is about cultural identity and also the designed future of Hong Kong. Then he interviewed several designers and also he borrowed some of the creative work from those designers and then put up an exhibition. We have an exhibition space here. So put up an exhibition and he create this exhibition and then invite a lot of people from the community to attend these exhibitions. Next slides. And those are some of the works that he present. And also other than 3, like the outfits from different designers in Hong Kong, also he show us a lot of artifacts about the history, about the culture of Hong Kong. And then the next one. And also That's another like artifacts that he present in the exhibition. And also when he present that, also there's a presentation section, so the people, they can ask him questions. There's a Q&A after his presentation, and then after the presentation, he just walk us down to the exhibition and to present the artifacts to every participants or every attendees. And next one, and this is another student's. Her research is focused on the cosmetic and also the fashion accessories, and about the correlation or the relationship between the culture and accessories and also the makeup. Now, also when she worked on this, also she take out many cultural information, because the students also she knows a lot about the Egyptian's culture. So also using the traditional techniques to make the necklaces and also the bracelets. So her study actually is including a lot of different creative components, the fashion accessory, the clothing items, about draping, and also has the theory and the cultural history to support and back it up. So and another slides, yes, and that's another example, and then another one. Yeah, and that's the experiment based on the historical information, and then she experiment different draping techniques, and then to make the garments. And I think that's about it. Yes.
Thank you, Osmo. Lots of great information. If you have any questions, you can type those questions in the chat. I will go through the application deadline, application process, and the funding, and I will get to the questions. Before we begin, I'd like to mention about Yale School of Graduate and Postdoctoral Studies, shortly YSGPS. YSGPS oversees all the graduate programs at the school, including administration, promotion, marketing, admissions, scholarships, fundings, and much more. Some of you might already familiar with the website. It has tons of information. If you have any questions that is specific to admissions, for example, transcripts, English language proficiency, or application portal related questions, you can reach out to gradhelp@torontomu.ca. For any specific questions, you can reach out to the program email gradfashion@torontomu.ca. For the application deadline, for domestic applicants, we have first consideration deadline January 20. If you submit a complete application by this date, we will review your application shortly after this date. We're aiming to send out the first batch of offers sometime in late February or early March. One of the advantages to submit a completed application by January 20 is if you are eligible for certain scholarship competitions, we're able to include your admissions application for competition. After January 20, we still accept the applications until the program is full. For international applicants, we have a priority consideration deadline that is December 1st, which is coming up. If you are aiming to apply by this date, please submit a computer application. We are going to continue accept the application after December 1st until January 20. Depending on a number of applications we receive by the December 1st and how competitive the applicants will receive, we are aiming to issue out offers just before the Christmas during the third week of December. And if there's still space, we will continue to review applications after January 20 and until the program is full. Also want to mention about the reference letter. We're asking for 2 reference letter. So when I mention a complete application, that's including everything for the required documents as well as the 2 reference letters. For the application process, two-step process. Step one, you need to submit a online application with OUAC, Ontario University's Application Center. OUAC is separate from TMU. You do need to log into their website and create a portal and provide your post-secondary education backgrounds, your personal status, as well as the two referee contact information. And from there, TMU will send out an email with instructions and submission link to your referees, so they can submit a reference on your behalf by that link directly to TMU. If you are aiming to submit your application by December 1st or January 20, ideally you have already talked to your referees already before you begin the step one. So when they receive the email from TMU, there's no surprise there. For the step two, 2 to 3 business usually, TMU will send you an email with the online identity information and your student ID number, so you can create your online application portal. Once you have the required documents ready, you can upload the documents there. And just be sure, make sure that the documents that you are planning to upload is final and complete, because you can only upload each section for each required documents once. So admission requirements, Osmo mentioned this already, so I'm gonna skip that. If you have any questions, you can type the question in the chat, or you can ask us later directly. Let's talk about the funding. We have admissions awards for every student. When you submit a application, receive offer from the program, we will attach the admissions awards to the offer letter. We have 3 types of the admissions awards. The first one is Toronto Metropolitan Graduate Fellowship, TMGS. This one is for domestic students, value from 2,000 to 6,000. We also have a Toronto Metropolitan Graduate Development Award, TMGDA. This is for international students, same value, 2,000 to 6,000. We also have one Ontario Graduate Fellowship, OGF, 12,000 for one academic year. This is for one top domestic candidate. We also have program awards. Once you're in the program, when each award application portal is open, we will notify you to submit application. We also have internal funding. It's Bridging Divine's Entrance Scholarship. This one offers a limited number of stipends to full-time incoming students to the graduate program. If your research topic is related to one of the 4 research themes, for example, immigrant health and well-being, employment and lifelong learning, or the place and infrastructure, or citizenship participation. We will share the link in the chat just in a couple minutes. Thank you, Daniel. And you can learn more about the research topic in each thing, what are the researchers, and also the current research project they have been working on. For domestic students, it's up to 20,000 per year. For international, it's up to 30,000 per year. This stipends is renewable to up to 2 years. Of course, it's subject to review of your student progress and availability of the funds. The deadline is coming up April 1st, 2025. So you do need to submit an application by yourself for this one. We have external funding, 2 big scholarships. The first one is Ontario Graduate Scholarship, OGS, and also we have Toronto Met Graduate Scholarship, TMGS. Those 2 for domestic and international, 15,000 for one academic year. in order to be eligible, you need to have A minus in each year of your last 2 years of your studies. If you submit your application by January 20, a complete application, we are able to calculate your GPA for the last 2 years. If you are eligible, we will send you an email, notify you to submit the application form, and then we're able to include your admissions application for computation, and that's sometime in February or March. We will have the results in early May. For the second scholarship, it's Social Sciences and Humanities Research Council Canada Graduate Scholarship, SHRC. This one is 20,000 for one academic year, only for domestic applicants. Same eligibility, you need to have A minus in each year of your last 2 years. Application deadline is coming up December 1st. So if you are eligible, please apply. It all depends on your education backgrounds, your personal status, and your research topic. In the second year, we will double check your cumulative GPA, and we will notify you if you are eligible to apply for OGS, TMGS, and SHRC. And we will have some workshops that help you to write a better application and focus on your research topic. So there are some workshops there to help you. In addition, we have other fundings. For example, on the YSGPS graduate website, we have all tons of the scholarships that categorized in different categories. We also have external funding in that section. Lots of funding opportunities there. So check out based on your education backgrounds, status, your research topic. Apply. If you want to work part-time as a teaching assistant or graduate assistant or research assistant, you can apply that sometime in summer, just before the fall 2025. We have in the past cohort, we had some research teaching assistantship from the School of Fashion. If we do have that opportunities again, we will usually issue those to the top candidates when you apply by January 20. But we also have other opportunities in the School of Fashion or other faculties at the university, so you can apply. The last one is Career Boost. We have all sort of the part-time positions at the university, so you can take the full-time program and also work at the TMU. It's a great experience. Of course, for domestic applicants, you have OSUP as the one of the funding resources. This is the end of the presentation. So I'm not going to repeat the contact info. We're going to link the email to the chat later, so you have that information on hand. I'm going to stop sharing so we can see each other, and we want to answer some of your questions. Thank you, Danielle. I've been sending all the links to the chat. So I saw there was one, and Daniel answered already. Okay, there's a question. I see that. Okay. 3 questions. Finishing the classes while receiving degree with the first consideration date, not December 1st. So would my provincial certificate is all right? So I'm gonna answer that question first. So that's very standard, and it's usually students would apply for the graduate program in your last year of your undergrad. Usually it's in the first year. So what happens, we will look at your transcripts for what you have, and then graduate admissions will, double check the GPA. If you would receive an offer from the program, graduate admission will issue a conditional offer in condition that you will meet the minimum B requirements and submit official transcripts. Once your degree is confirmed, you have the final transcript sometimes in the summer, which is before the after the December 1st, if you are referring the December 1st, 2024. So that's there. For the second part of the question for the portfolio, would you say you focus on design rather than the process of making?
I can answer the
Yeah.
other two questions because it's about portfolio.
Great.
So usually the portfolio will be reviewed by the faculty member, the fashion faculty member. So the portfolio, you can include any creative work. There's no restriction whether you need to submit a fashion or costume. You can submit a photograph, you can submit a sculpture, you can submit anything, as long as you can demonstrate your creativities. And also, I hope that also there's something, the ideas that has something to support and to back it up. And so that's why I think also it's important to include the ideation sketches and also even the rough sketches, how your ideas is developed, and we would like to see that. Definitely not only the final outcome of your creative work, but also the process work. We would like to look at those. And if your research is based on certain theory or approach, also mention that. It could be the practice-based research, it could be the creative-based research, or you have a specific reason why you produce that. Also, you can share your experience with us. So it's not just limited to visual images. Also, you can provide some written information or rough sketches, to demonstrate how your ideas is formulated. And we love to see that part. I hope that I answered your questions. If you have any other questions about the portfolio, also please let me know. And also, I think it's fine if you submit the props or any fashion accessory to go with the costume. In the past, actually, I had a student, and that student I supervised in the past, and she's a cosplayer. And the cosplayer, they create their own costume, and not only the costume, but also the props, right? So she's using that, as her portfolio, and absolutely is fine because that's her creative work.
Thank you. I see a question for Area. Do my two reference need to be academic or can they be professional? We want to see two reference, academic reference, because we want to see your research skills, your analytical, critical thinking, and written skills. Preferably, if for some reason you cannot provide two, you can provide one professional reference just to make sure that they speak of your abilities rather than personalities. So it is a research intensive 2 years MA program. So we want to know your academic skills. There is a question from Dan. Can you tell us a bit? I think this question is for Osimo.
I can answer that questions. Can you tell us a bit about the equipment and the facilities or studio space? The equipments, we have quite a lot of equipments, and we have the design and technology lab. The students, they can go there to take workshops and to learn how to use the equipments. We have CNC technologies like the computer control system. We have a 3D printing. We have the 3D knitting machine. We have the body scanner and many, many other technologies. But usually my concern is if some students, they don't have any knowledge about using those equipments, it might take them extra time to learn how to use it and apply for the MRP. So that means you need to take extra workshop in order to understand how can use it, maybe not just the basic stuff, but how to use it to create certain things that you can use, right? But that takes time. But if you already learn some of the equipment, then it will be easier for you. And it also depends on your research topic. Maybe your research topic doesn't require a lot of equipments. And some of you, if you want to create the clothing items, also we have the digital pattern drafting and also many other software that the students also can use. So I hope I'd answered that questions. And then in terms of the space, we have the fashion studio space for the students. And also that studio base in the front is a class, is for the class, because we only have 20 students. So the students kind of sit around like a circle. And then sometimes they share the readings. And because the MA required a lot of readings, is quite different than the undergraduate program. Undergraduate program, probably the students, they need to take quizzes, tests, exam, and then assignment project. But then for the MA, we seldom give the students the test or the exam, but required a lot of readings and to share the readings with the classmate, and so that we can facilitate some discussion, and hope that can inspire everyone. And also we need to look at every paper from the critical lens. So to criticize the paper also, and then to bring in different ideas and hope that we can learn from each other. So and in a way is a little bit more self-direct, rather than like the undergraduate. We always have a rubrics. You need to do this and do that in order to get the mark. But then the MA, then you sometimes even you need to propose a topic that what you want to do, right? So it's a little bit different, and you need to take a lot of initiative. And then the setting is for the discussion purposes. And also, of course, there's a projector and there's a screen. Then if the instructor want to talk about the history of fashion, then they can use that facility. And also at the back, there is a space for the students to work on their creative component. And also they can have a discussion with the friends. And also there's a printer at the back. But we don't have the individual space for every single student. It's not a PhD program. Usually the PhD students, they have their own space, right? But we don't have that. And in the fashion studio, we have the lockers. So in case some students, they work on a project with so many pieces and it's pretty heavy to bring it to the class, then they can put it in the locker. And then I believe that there's so many common space that you can use other than just within our school. There are many other space. Catalyst is the space the students, they can book the room and to have a discussions there. I don't know whether some of you, if you live in Toronto, you are more than welcome to come to visit us. And then you can look at the space we have. And that is only by every student can book that the room and the space, for the project, for discussions, for anything. And that we call that is a catalyst space. And then you just book the space online. And also the equipment, also you can contact the director of the lab and then to ask them, when are you going to offer the training or the workshop? I would like to learn and attend, and then they will provide you support. So we have a lot of resources like that.
Great, thank you. I'm going to answer the second part of question for Dan. So most of the students will finish with the 5 semesters for the 2 years. So it's a continuous enrollment once you are in the program. So that's including the first year, spring, summer, until you finish in the in the winter and the second year. However, some students, if you have any medical or compassionate or parental reasons that you have to take a turn, that's something you can just notify the instructor, the OSMU, the graduate program director, and our team, the administration, so we can assist you with the process and then brief you with the steps how it works when you're in the program. So if something happens, that's something we can accommodate. So in that case, so I'm gonna look in the question for area. Are there semester exchange opportunities? Asmu, do you want to answer this one?
We don't have a master exchange. Currently, we don't have that. So only undergraduate we have that. But if there's some opportunities that the students they can go abroad to learn, we will inform the students. And Daniel, do you have any extra information about that?
Yeah, just the one thing to notice, there's no exchange options, but there are a few international intensive courses, they call them. There's a few that are actually for both grad and undergrad, and so those ones just come up once in a while. Like we had one in I think in Mexico City coming up in spring 2025, for example. There was one in Germany last summer. Those ones, they come up sort of like based on the partnerships we have with different universities, and we'll generally speaking, once we know they're available, the instructor will let us know, and then we'll pass on the information to the students. The intensives are usually shorter in length, so then it's not a full semester. It's usually 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, depending on the course, and you usually get a credit that is equivalent to an elective credit here in the Fashion MA program. But again, they don't happen every year. It depends on availability of space for those intensive courses.
Great, thank you. So I'm gonna move on to the question 14. Currently a postgrad student in Hamburg Polytech Fashion Management program. Can I use the transcript of my current program for the application? But did a bachelor a long time ago. The GPA was a little bit low. So when you apply to the Fashion MA, the minimum is 4 years undergraduate degree. However, if you are in a situation like this, you need to submit both the bachelor and also the postgrad fashion management from the Hamburg. We do consider your application holistically. That's both with your combination of your education experience and also the professional work experience if you have any. So to answer to you, yes, you need to apply, but you have to submit all the post-secondary, including the bachelor you have done before a long time ago. The cumulative GPA, this is something graduate admission will calculate based on your GPA scale from your institutions, and then they will push forward the application. However, you are competing with the applicants who already meet the minimum requirements. I'm gonna move on to the next one. Already complete the bachelor in 2022, so fashion IELTS is mandatory. It depending on so to exempt from the English language proficiency test, you need to have a 2 years undergraduate degree from a university. Well, the primary language instruction is English. So if that's the case, you are exempt from the English language proficiency. And then for the test, one IELTS is one of the tests you can take. There are other, for example, Kaya or TOEFL. So we will link that in the link later, so you can check out that with details. Move on to next one, Judy. Is this program available part-time, considering work while pursuing their MA? Fashion MA is a full-time program, in person on campus. Classes are scheduled, can be anytime from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Each class is usually 3 hours. So there's no part-time, but if you are working full-time, it's not durable, but it's intensive, and the MRP is really intensive, especially in the second year, and you do require a continuous enrollment in the program. It depending on your flexibility at your work, and how your work and the personal life balance, and your organizational skills, etc. All those factors. Do we have students who did full-time work and taking full-time fashion MA? I don't know. I don't recall, but the program is really intensive. It is a research focused MA program. So that's there. Next question, official
I have
transcripts.
answered this question. Is about equipment and facilities. So
Okay, yeah, great.
and then the next one is about the official transcript. Maybe Elaine, you can answer that.
Yeah, I can go. Okay, let me answer this one. For the official transcripts can be sent as class over. I'm only waiting for my university give me degree. Okay, that's great. So I answered this question a little bit earlier. Yes, you can apply when you're in the program. If you receive offer, you will receive a conditional offer. So once you complete your degree, you can send a official transcripts that's sometimes due in August next year. Okay.
And it's great. We have a cosplayer. That's fantastic.
Yes. Move on to the next question for me. Holding two questions. The first one is graduate finish bachelor degree in 2020. Still eligible to apply for. Yes, you're eligible to apply. It doesn't matter how long you complete your degree, or you just complete your degree, or you work in a number of years and come back to advance your education. Yes. So the second question is teaching research assistant opportunity opens every year. Any specific requirements for being the teaching assistant? Yes, the teaching assistant is available throughout the academic year. Usually, the faculty would hire just a couple months or during the first month of each term. So that would be sometime in July, August. You apply for the September role, or the role is for winter or spring, summer. So throughout the year, we will link that in the chat so you can check it out. The requirements, it depending on the position. If it's a research assistant or a teaching assistant, graduate assistant, they are a little bit different for each one, and also depending on the course that undergraduate program they are hiring. So something related to the course, most professors would look for someone who already have the education backgrounds from the certain course and certain skills to for the position. Gonna move on to the next question. Thank you, Daniel. Answered that questions already for the English language requirements. Did I miss any questions? Let me know. Osmond, you mentioned you want to answer one question. I don't see any question there.
No, I already answered that questions. So
Okay.
in terms of the research assistants, it's not, there's no specific time that the faculty member will post the job. It really depends on whether they receive the funding, either the external funding or the internal funding. If they have the money, then they will put up a posting, a job posting, and hope that some students will apply. Now, if you don't have the knowledge or the skill, let's say maybe the project is about cosplay, and I'm not a cosplayer, and I don't know anything about the costume or any manga character, so maybe I'm not suitable for that position. Don't have that kind of thinking, because the funding is supposed to train the student and to mentor the students. So in the past, I hired students. They didn't have any experience. Like, for example, I did a research about bibliometric analysis, and no one they learned about the software, how to do the bibliometric analysis. But that funding is to train the students and also to provide them additional knowledge. And of course, they can make some money as well, right? But the thing is also you need to consider whether you have enough time, to study, to put the time for your study, especially the first semester, because it's the new environment. And also, as I said earlier, it's quite different than the undergraduate program. You need to read a lot of things, and especially if you are not from the fashion field, then you need to learn some theories. And then if you want to do it well, then you need to spend time, right? Although there's a lot of opportunities, we really need to find a balance, right? Should I do it 5 hours per week? If there's opportunities come up, then, or should I spend 10 hours on the research, right? As a research assistant, you need to make sure that you have enough time, right, to do that. And sometimes you can also discuss with the faculty and to work out the schedule. But then there's no specific time for the job posting. So if the faculty member receives the funding, then they need someone to help them to work on the project, then they will put up a job posting.
Great, thank you. I saw last question in the chat about the peers students' work. So that is a research paper. So I link the R-share from the TMU library. So check out the MRP that the students completed before. Do we have resources you can see in person? Unfortunately not at this point. Sorry, I saw one more question. Okay. Bachelor degree in fashion design technology. So do I submit portfolio or is optional? So for portfolio, it's optional. However, if you have a portfolio and if you think it will strengthen your application in overall, please submit a portfolio. If you don't submit portfolio, you still need to submit a PDF file and state no portfolio required and to the application portal, so your application is complete. Thank you very much for joining the session. A lot of great questions. We have the admissions Q&A session every Tuesday at 12 p.m. If you have questions later on, you can join that. If not, you can always email gradfashion@torontomu.ca or any questions specific for the MRP or curriculum related questions, you can email Osmond. Thank you again. I'm gonna stop recording and feel free to sign off.